Good morning, fantasy baseball world. This is Saturday, March 16th. We are waiting for the sound to come through the chat room. And if you listen to our show, you know how we do it. We like to wait till the sound comes through in the chat room because we love our interactive baseball fanatic chat room. Today we're going to do some position battles this spring. We're also going to talk about some news, some notes, some injuries, some players. You know, the normal stuff. So let's just welcome everybody to the chat room as soon as we get some sound in here. You know, you can listen to the Happy Hour Social Club every Wednesday night at 7:30, and you can listen to Lenny Melnick Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Also, Saturday Fantasy Baseball with me at 9 a.m. Eastern. And Sunday, the Lady and the Legend, which is me and Lenny, of course. I'm sure you can figure out who is who in that. Just waiting for sound. So do 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 do. Hi, Leonard.
Hello, everybody.
Lenny says hi. Alrighty. Where is everybody? There we go. Okay, we got the sound coming through. So let me just tell my compadres, and we'll get started. Everybody, great to see you in the chat room. Zelmo is here. Big Al on the prowl. Data Premier. Daniel the Hulkster Ferrara. Danny and Penny Fuller. Eddie and Teresa Heckman. JR, Mats, Moose, Mikey, Danny, the Mats family, Lenny, Main Nick, Malpal, Tina, Rotorius, SM King Turd, Turd Jr., and away we go. Rotorius is here. Not sure if I mentioned Rotorius, but I can't see down past that on my iPad. So Saturday is Roto Lady, and here I am in the flesh. Let's get started. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's just get going. Jose Urquidy, Houston Astros starter, left his start yesterday with elbow discomfort. You got the Astros pitching injuries, okay, this spring. And now another one with Jose Urquidy. It only makes sense for the Astros to be engaged in talks with Blake Snell. They did send scouts to watch him throw 4 innings in a simulated game against a junior college. Urquidy's not much of a fantasy baseball target. He's ADP 519. He threw 43 pitches yesterday before he exited. He's being examined by the Astros trainers, and they were already on the lookout for starting pitching because Justin Verlander opening the season on the injured list. They also have J.P. France, who's day-to-day. Lance McCullers is out. Luis Garcia. They still have a couple. They still have a decent-sized rotation, if you can believe that. I mean, they have 10 starting pitchers in their depth chart. Of course, half of those guys are injured. There are so many teams that could use Snell, Verlander, and Bauer, okay? There's 3 good pitchers available, and nobody's taking them up, and there is no excuse about the money because Bauer is free. Basically, we also have Cole Calhoun retiring from the game of baseball. He was an 8th round pick in the 2010 by the Angels. He ended up playing 12 years in the majors. He played for the Angels from 2012 to 2019, and he won a Gold Glove in 2015. Adios, Cole Calhoun. Now, third baseman J.D. Davis was released by the Giants. You remember when they signed free agent Matt Chapman. Now he's going to Chapman's original home. He signed a 1-year, $2.5 million contract with the Oakland A's. Now, what?
Screwed the Mets again.
He screwed the Mets.
Yeah, Mets let him go and tried to get him back.
The Mets let him go and tried to get him back, according to Leonard. Good morning to Tommy Johnson. Great to see you, buddy. All right, J.D. Davis ADP is 493. You know, he signed a 1-year, $2.5 million contract. He will see regular action at third base. Obviously, the A's don't project to be competitive this season, so it is possible that the Oakland A's trade J.D. Davis to a contender. You know, it's his defense that keeps him in the lineup. Last year, 18 home runs, though, 69 RBIs, and 61 runs. Obviously, as I mentioned already, the A's are not a great team, but J.D. Davis does have a starting job at third base, and he will hit double-digit home runs. They're expecting 255 average, 16 homers, 54 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Center fielder Michael Taylor now signs with the Pirates on a 1-year, $4 million contract. Now, Michael Taylor, who I used to refer to as Michael Failure, his ADP is 571. He spent 2023 with the Twins. He hit 220 with the 278 on base percentage, both horrible, but he had a career-high 21 home runs and a career-high 51 RBIs. He also stole 13 bases in 388 plate appearances. They say he could fill the small side of a platoon in center field for Pittsburgh since lefty Jack Suwinski struggles against lefties. He only plays one position, center field, so it's not like Michael Taylor can be moved around all over the place, but according to RotoWire, they are listing him as the starting center fielder for the Pirates with Jack Suwinski in right field, so it doesn't look like a platoon here. It just seems that maybe they'll push him over against left-handed hitters. They also have Andrew McCutchen over there in right field or as the DH. Tommy Pham still available, easily now the best free agent outfielder on the market. The Padres still seem to be the perfect fit for Tommy Pham. He's not a bad fantasy guy. Last year, 256 with 16 home runs, 68 RBIs, 55 runs, and 22 stolen bases. He is a free agent. That's why his ADP is so low at 389. He played last year all 3 outfield positions, so he definitely can be used by any team at any outfield position. He also played 44 games as DH, right? So, bottom line, I'm pretty sure Tommy Pham is going to get a job. Don't quote me on that. He came from the Mets, you know. That's that. He's going very cheap. He steals bases. He hits a few home runs. We'll see what happens, but if he gets a job, it's going to be somewhere in the outfield. And once again, he can play every position. All right, Daniel Ferrara showing us his Topps 2024 baseball cards and his Roto World Fantasy Baseball magazine. All right. Rangers manager Bruce Bochy turd. He said that Friday he's more optimistic that Corey Seager is going to be ready for opening day. It's not a specific update, but more it just sounds like total optimism coming from Bruce Bochy about Seager. He resumed taking swings this week. He's also been fielding ground balls and playing catch, and he should continue ramping up his baseball work during the closing stretch of camp. There's a decent chance he's ready by opening day. Going back to the Mets now, is Laura here yet? Laura, where are you? I don't feel comfortable talking about the Mets without Laura around.
Laura is there.
Laura and Mary, good morning to you. So David Stearns declined to comment, okay, specifically about J.D. Davis and J.D. Martinez rumors. Now, obviously, I just got done telling you that J.D. Davis is signed with the Oakland A's. But they're still talking to J.D. Martinez. But here's what David Stearns indicated. He expects that the Mets' current in-house options, which are Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos, are their primary third base and DH options, okay? Also says he's constantly looking to improve, so obviously not ruling out adding a guy like J.D. Martinez, but still. The fact is that this Beatty and Vientos are not being drafted by fantasy managers, and I'm out there drafting them all I can, okay? Because it's the last round, and these two guys are still available. If you were talking about real baseball, and you were talking about how good these guys are in real baseball, I'm going to have to say that both have some serious problems. But as far as fantasy baseball goes, you don't care about defense. That's number one. Number two, Vientos and Beatty are both power hitters. Vientos a huge slugger, right? He's never going to have a great batting average, but that's what you get, all right? Vientos and Beatty, they will be in the lineup as of now. If the Mets don't make any moves, you'd just be stupid to not add Beatty and Vientos as your second last picks. All right, Beatty qualifies at third base. Vientos, I don't think he qualifies at third base. I think he's only DH to start the season. But either way, it looks to me like both of these guys are going to get in the batting lineup. Pittsburgh has the most home runs this spring so far. Now, another injury update is that Danny Jansen, the Blue Jays catcher, is going to miss the start of the season. He has a small fracture in his wrist, and of course, Alejandro Kirk will replace Danny Jansen. So Alejandro Kirk just went from a part-time to a full-time player. And look, Kirk is the closer of the future in this Toronto team, and he hasn't been that good to start off with, but he was a very highly touted, highly regarded prospect, and I still think that he has enough good plate skills to keep this job. Manager John Schneider said that he'll be down for a couple of weeks and would hopefully be back early in the season. That would be Danny Jansen. Nestor Cortez, the Yankees, going to be their opening day starter. Oh boy, do they need some pitching. All right, that's all I have to say for that. Now, just checking in on the chat room. Good morning to Kenny Flamia. Good morning to Boston Paul. All right. Let's talk about some position battles that are going on, and then we'll finish this up. I know you guys all have a lot of drafts going on. You have this, we're going to start with Texas here. You got second base and third base in Texas. Manager Brandon Hyde, this is not Texas. This is freaking Orioles. Hello. We got Texas in here too, don't you worry, turd. But for now, we're targeting this at Eddie Heckman. The second base and third base job for the Orioles. Now, manager Brandon Hyde recently said that Gunnar Henderson would spend the majority of his time at shortstop this season. He still could play some time at third, but it seems like the team's intention is to make him the full-time shortstop. Of course, Holiday that closes off that position for Jackson Holiday. But they have really been eyeing him for second base. Holiday ADP is 172 right now. Holiday has spent most of his time this spring at second base, and even when Henderson was out with an oblique injury, Holiday, the 20-year-old, has been playing second base. He's batting .323 with a .344 on-base percentage, a home run, a couple of doubles, 2 triples, 2 stolen bases. Although he has struck out 12 times and walked only once over 32 plate appearances, it still just really feels like the Orioles want Holiday to win the job, and it does seem like he's the front runner. Now, you also have Jordan Westburg here, whose ADP is .327. He's also seen some action at second base during the spring, but he might now have a better shot at the third base job. He can also play shortstop and the outfield, so it's possible he falls into a super utility role. Once again, Jordan Westburg looking good, .327 ADP. Now you have Ramon Urias, and I know he's not an exciting or anything like that, and his ADP is way down there, 744. I just drafted him in the 50th round of a draft and hold league. He's played third base almost exclusively this spring and remains firmly in the mix there too. Now, Ramon Urias can play first base, third base, second base, And although it doesn't show him as the starting guy at any of those positions, I'm sure that Ramon Urias will get an opportunity for fantasy managers to at least see time. And the fact that he's eligible at all these positions and can play these positions is a good thing to have in a draft and hold league. It's showing, according to RotoWire, it's showing Jordan Westberg as the third baseman, Jackson Holliday as the second baseman, and Gunnar Henderson as the shortstop. They have a bunch of lefties. They definitely have a very well-rounded lineup in Baltimore, and, that's why I'm telling you, Colton Cowser, I don't see him starting the season with the job. He may stay in the majors. I'm not really sure, but for now, we're talking about the infield spots, and we're pretty sure that Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westberg, and Jackson Holliday will all start the season in the bigs with the Orioles. How exciting is that for you, Eddie and Teresa? Going on to the Boston Red Sox, you have Jarren Duran, Masataka Yoshida, Tyler O'Neill, Ceddanne Rafaela, and Wilyer Abreu. Now, prior to the start of spring training, their manager, Alex Cora, said that Rafaela would have a chance to get a job in the outfield, in center field. His ADP right now is 449. I'm telling you, this guy is very flexible. He's 23 years old, and he is absolutely better defender than Jarren Duran, whose ADP is 145, by the way. And he's also out hitting him this spring. Ceddanne Rafaela, 900 OPS with 3 homers and 2 steals, to Duran's 398 OPS, no home runs, and 1 stolen bases. So, on the days that Jarren Duran, who has already been named as the leadoff hitter by Cora, when he hasn't started in center field, he slides over to left rather than to right, and it's in left where he figures to spend most of his time if Rafaela beats him out in center. I'm not joking around when I tell you that Ceddanne Rafaela is going to be a big part of this team this year. Nobody's talking about it, but Rafaela also plays second base and shortstop. He's good defensively. And I'm telling you, with Vaughn Grissom out, I just can't believe that nobody's talking about Ceddanne Rafaela playing second base. I'd love if one of you Red Sox fans could tell me which player has played the majority of second base since Vaughn Grissom has been out, because they need somebody there. Rafaela can play all over the outfield, but they do like him in center field. Also, they can find other spots for Jarren Duran by just sliding him over. They slid him over to right, so that's the thing. Oh, actually, he slid over to left rather than right. So it's left where he figures to spend most of his time if Rafaela beats him out in center. There's another guy who is sitting out there in right field whose ADP is 522, Wilyer Abreu. He's played virtually every day in right field during the spring, and he could be the regular there, at least versus right-handed pitcher. Now, notable too is Tyler O'Neill, who just was not living up to his promise as a St. Louis Cardinal. Now he is a Boston Red Sox. His ADP is 211, and he finally made his first start this spring in right field on Tuesday after he recovered from a calf injury. So the plan seems to be for O'Neill to spend most of his playing time in left, but he can also be worked into right field more if Rafaela wins the center field job. Yoshida, okay, don't forget about Yoshida, ADP 180. They like him as the DH, so the path of least resistance here remains sticking with Duran in center field and letting Rafaela play every day at AAA. But I'll tell you what, they need a second baseman. Rafaela is not sent back down to the minors as of now. And believe me when I tell you, this kid has a place, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. Maybe I'm crazy. I haven't really gotten any response from anybody that knows better. So I'm just going with what I see. SM King Turd. I know, Boston Paul likes Cowser, but he can't tell you why. Okay? He tells you gut feeling. That's not a good reason why. There's just too many statistics out there to say just cliche stuff like, oh, he's going to be great. Oh, he's a good hitter. Oh, he's this. No, I want some serious number, okay? When you tell me you like somebody, you tell me why you like them, and you back it up without cliches. You can't just say, oh, he has good prospect pedigree, or everybody likes him, or any of that. I need some concrete evidence as to why you like these players when you tell me you like them. Okay? That's for everybody, not just Boston Paul. Texas Rangers. Here we go, Turd. You got the designated hitter and outfield spots. You got Adolis Garcia, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Leody Taveras, and Justin Foscue, who's not getting any love. Gut feeling counts for nothing. Seeing his swing counts for nothing. What do you like about his swing? If you saw him play, what did you see that you liked? That's more cliche coming out of you, okay? Tell me what you liked about his swing. Did he swing only at strikes? Did he have a great follow-through? Did he show that he was impressive with his stance or his leg kick? Did he take off running fast? Did he have a good eye? Any of those things, okay? Anything. The Rangers have not only kept running Langford out there regularly in Cactus League play, but they've also consistently been hitting him in the top third of the batting order. His ADP right now is 105. That is early, my friends. Early. Here's what he's doing, though, okay? Wyatt Langford, 379 batting average, 472 on base percentage, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 36 plate appearances. He's received a couple of starts at DH, but otherwise he has been used in left field by the Rangers this spring. Meanwhile, you have Adolis Garcia, whose ADP is 42. He did not make his Cactus League debut until March 6th, and he's yet to play the field. He wasn't injured, but the Rangers wanted to slow play him after he battled knee and oblique injuries down the stretch last year. So it is possible that cautiousness carries over into the regular season with Garcia, Texas giving him plenty of playing time at DH and perhaps a couple of extra days off too. And you got Wyatt Langford here, one of the most exciting youngsters in baseball. Big Al on the prowl, knocking Langford, saying that he's a poster boy for a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. Boston Paul says he doesn't have to tell me any of that. He can have an opinion. He's been in baseball 50 years and a coach for many years, and he knows when a player sucks or not. That's fine. Absolutely. Have your own opinion, but you're sitting here in a fantasy baseball chat room, and if you're going to brag about players that you like and you want to convince anybody that you're right, you should just say a reason. But you're right. You don't have to have a reason. You could just keep saying cliche things like, I have a gut feeling, or I saw him swing, because that's just not convincing anybody. But I still love you, and you're more than welcome to have your opinions. Of course you are. Now, with Wyatt Langford and Big Al's comment, I have to respond to that. I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, he's fallen into territory here that we've seen so many times in the past, which is so good in the spring, just making everybody's eyebrows raise about how great they are. We already liked Wyatt Langford to begin with, right? And now just the expectations of this guy are through the roof. And a lot of times we've seen for sure that this hype does not continue into the regular season, although I think King Turd might disagree with you. I have to say, too, that I'm not a huge fan of rookies. I do not draft them in roto leagues. There's certain situations where you can really get an exciting team, and you don't have to worry about dealing with their bad days. You know, Ellie De La Cruz is going to have some bad days. You know it, but he could literally steal 67 bases, 70 bases. He could hit 40 home runs if he really tried hard. The potential is sky high for these guys. And I don't recall having this many very exciting youngsters. It just seems like they're all grouped up on the same teams. You got the Orioles and the Rangers just full of these youngsters. You got the Cincinnati Reds, and those are three teams that I would say have the most exciting youngsters. Now, I hear what you're saying. I still have to root for Wyatt Langford now because I just got a share of this kid, which I never would have got if it wasn't for the situation in this league, which is a 50-player dynasty league. I don't know how he wasn't drafted yet, but he was sitting right there, right next to Yamamoto. I got the second pick, so of course I took Langford. Now, all right, we talked about Adolis Garcia. We talk about Langford handling left field most days and Garcia only DHing. Carter, ADP 112, has played a lot of right field and also some center field. Now, Carter is going to play every day, and Langford will too, if he makes the team. You also have Leodis Taveras, whose 315 ADP has earned something close to everyday at bats as well. And obviously, Adolis Garcia will be an everyday guy once he's up to speed. But nobody's talking about Justin Foscue, who at 685 ADP is very much in the mix at DH, but who also could be needed more in the corner infield spots because Nathaniel Lowe is out with an oblique and Josh Jung has a calf problem. Justin Foscue plays first, second, third, and DH, okay? And then you have Evan Carter, who plays, he looks like he's the starting left fielder, but he can also play center field. I think Justin Foscue is going to get a chance to make this team, and of course he's just outshined completely by all these great players for the Texas Rangers. What do you think about Justin Foscue? Turd. Andy drinking the Kool-Aid and drafting Langford. Yes, I had to do it, you know. I mean, if anything, he's trade bait, right? I need so much. I had to draft pitchers just to get a full roster. My team is so bad in that league. All right. Anyway, Toronto Blue Jays. Okay, you got the second base and third base jobs, and here's the names that are popping up for these two jobs. Davis Schneider, Cavan Biggio, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Santiago Espinal, Eduardo Escobar, and Ernie Clement. Now, it seems like the team's starters at second and third base will come from a group, and it's been a steady rotation of Cavan Biggio, ADP 630, Davis Schneider, ADP 599 at second base, since Biggio returned from a shoulder injury, and given that the same two guys also closed out last season with most of the action at second base, and it would seem like that's the plan again. Now, Schneider has been also used in left field this spring and could ultimately settle into last year's Whit Merrifield role, which is basically just an equal amount of starting at bats at two different positions, which it would be left field and second base. Kiner-Falefa, he plays all over the place. He started 3 of his last 4 games at third base, and he might be the favorite to see most of the action at third base, although now they have Eduardo Escobar, who is a non-roster invitee, and his ADP is 750, by the way, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's ADP is 652. Eduardo Escobar has been at third base plenty this spring, and the Jays won't limit Kiner-Falefa to one position. So, according to RotoWire, you have the third base job going to Kiner-Falefa. You have the center field job going to Kiermaier. Dalton Varsho listed as the left fielder, and George Springer obviously in right. But Kiner-Falefa plays all 3 outfield positions, shortstop, third base, second base. This guy plays all over the place. However, as I'm telling you, the third base job looks like it's kind of Falefa's to lose. Escobar, he's on the depth charts. He was a non-roster invitee, but I think they're going to keep him. He's a switch hitter. He's capable of playing first base, second base, first and second base, okay? Which, look, the Toronto Blue Jays lineup is just whacked out. Plus, you got Ernie Clement, whose ADP is 750. He's had a good spring. He's out of options, which could put a pinch on Santiago Espinal, who does have options left and who hardly played for Toronto down the stretch last season. Both of these jobs could ultimately be largely timeshares, at least until somebody distinguishes themselves. Robert played almost the whole year, hit 38 bombs, and had horrific counting numbers. The White Sox only got worse. Jonah Heim had 93 RBIs, hitting 8th and missing time. I love it. Kenny Flamia talks about Tim Anderson, Brandon Drury, Justin Turner, Caballero, or Brandon Lau. Which two would you choose to start the season for your team for middle infielder? Now, this all depends on how many home runs and stolen bases you need. Seriously, I'm absolutely first instinct taking Brandon Lau and... Wait, are these both Brandons? Brandon Drury and Brandon Lau. I'm taking Drury and Lau, but that's only if you're looking at for home runs because neither of these two guys are going to steal any bases, but they're excellent for some power. It's kind of odd to have that much power in the middle infield. You're usually trying to get stolen bases, but as far as who I'm choosing out of your list, it's Brandon Lau and Drury. Tim Anderson could have a sneaky good bounce back season. Of course, he is playing for his future. He signed a 1-year deal because he was so bad last year that nobody wanted to take a long-term risk on him, but he is playing for his future at the moment. He's fresh on a new team and absolutely could bounce back. As far as fantasy goes, I'm not taking a chance on him if I need somebody to fill in that spot. However, I will take a chance on him as a bench guy just to see what he could do. Now, SM King Turd says that Foscue may have jumped Duran. It's hard to tell. So Eddie's a little annoyed at Lenny, just like Boston Paul's a little annoyed at me. Eddie says, Lenny, you keep telling everyone that Gunnar will not live up to expectations. I don't care. Eddie's going to stick up for Gunnar Henderson, dude. No doubt about it. All right? So there you go. Boston Paul, come back to me now, okay? Come back. Detroit Tigers, you got the 4th and 5th starting pitcher. I have myself a few shares of Reese Olson. We're going to talk about Reese Olson, Matt Manning, and Casey Mize. Reese Olson, 306 ADP, absolutely worth giving a shot at. He came into camp at the top of the hierarchy based on recent performance because what Reese Olson did in 5 September starts last season was a 1.44 ERA, and he's actually doing good this spring. He rebounded from a tough first 2 starts, and he's only allowed 1 run with 7 strikeouts over 7 innings between his last 2 starts. So here's what one beat writer for the Detroit Tigers projected Olson to be on the outside looking in for a rotation spot, but I disagree. At the very least, it would seem Olson's name isn't written into the rotation in ink just yet. But look at Matt Manning, ADP 535, also pitched well last season. I still like you too, Boston Paul, and I appreciate you coming to the chat room, and I appreciate your opinions. I just wish you would give more examples of why. That's it. But still, no matter if you do or you don't, we love having you and we like hearing from you, okay? This is a very serious baseball-minded chat room that we have, and every one of the opinions counts. All of these people do not come here for any other reason besides the legend, of course, and the fact that they love baseball, and that's what we're doing it. Now, here's what we got for the Tigers rotation. Matt Manning, 535 ADP. He also pitched well last season when he was healthy, which is the highlight of that sentence. He had a 3.58 ERA and a 1.04 whip, but he only made 15 starts, 50 strikeouts in 78 innings, which would put him on the down list for Malpal's formula. He does not strike out enough batters. He has had some bad home run luck this spring, but he has struck out 11 in 8 innings. So I don't know if that's going to continue, but another guy vying for this starting pitcher job is Casey Mize, who's been around a couple of seasons now, ADP 575. His velocity has popped this spring, but his command and control have not, which is understandable given how little he's pitched over the last 2 years, and it would seem to make sense to send Casey Mize to AAA Toledo for a while to sharpen things back up and manage his workload. However, all indications seem to be that he has a real shot at opening the season in the starting 5 rotation, even if the club will often need a long reliever to follow him because you're not getting wins out of this guy, okay? Not only is he not on a great team in the Detroit Tigers, but he doesn't pitch enough innings to earn the win. If he was a bullpen guy, he'd probably get more wins. However, you have Reese Olson, Casey Mize, and Matt Manning all competing for 2 spots. So 3 guys, 2 spots. And I'm pretty sure Reese Olson will start the season as a starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, and what can you lose? His ADP is 306, and like I said, he finished the season great last year. He's been pretty good after a couple of shady starts. He's actually been getting his shit together. The Blue Jays' 5th starter job looks like it's up for grabs because, whoa, wait for it, it's Alek Manoah hurt, all right, with a shoulder problem now. Let's look at Bowden Francis. Now, I know Paolo Espino was in the mix. Also, Mitch White, okay? But Bowden Francis, the 27-year-old, looks like he is going to be the guy that fills in to start the season. He's 27 years old. He opened the season with AAA Buffalo last year. And his first 4 starts, he had a 3.45 ERA with 23 strikeouts and only 4 walks in 15 2/3 innings. So that got him a call-up in early June, and he spent the rest of the season shuttling between the Blue Jays bullpen and the Buffalo team, the minors. When he was in the majors, he was effective. He registered a 1.73 ERA and a .83 whip over 36 1/3 frames. He's going to be given the chance to break camp in the Blue Jays rotation, and they need him in the rotation right now, so there's really not any more talk about whether or not he's going to be a starter or a bullpen guy. His ADP is 589. Now, as of yesterday, this is what the news was. He was rolling on Thursday in his Grapefruit League outing versus the Twins. He just had 1 unearned run over 6 innings. He struck out 2. He needed only 67 pitches to get through 6 innings. Okay? 4 singles allowed, no walks. He lowered his spring ERA to 1.93, and he holds 12-2 strikeout to walk ratio over 14 innings. Now, this guy is all but certain to enter the season in the Blue Jays rotation. 589 ADP. Okay, my friends, that is that. Now, let's talk about another guy, the Kevin Gausman. He's got problems too, so there might even be room for one more guy in the Toronto Blue Jays rotation. That doesn't include Kikuchi, Lenny's favorite, who is already in the rotation, Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett. But you do have quite a few spots here where it's iffy if these guys are going to be ready by the start of the season. However, my point of this specific talk about the rotation in Toronto is to tell you that your boy, Bowden Francis, is worth a pick, okay? Now, the Twins starting rotation. The Twins signed Anthony DeSclafani, but what about Louis Varland? Louis Varland has been lights out this spring with 11 innings pitched in 3 starts, 11 strikeouts, only 1 walk. His ERA is 0 and his whip is .64. He's 26 years old. Now he had improved velocity last season, which turned him into a weapon. Oh, Jonathan Motzinger can't get back in the chat room. It's okay, dude. We love you. Let's talk about Louis Varland. He's up to 95.3 miles an hour average fastball. It used to be 93.9 miles an hour, all right, from the previous season. He had a strong year at AAA last year, 9.8 strikeouts per 9, a 3.97 ERA, but even better FIP, 3.32. He was called up early in the season as a starter. He had good success with a 3.51 ERA in 7 starts, but then he got shelled. He gave up 17 runs in 15 innings in his next 3 starts, which made him get sent back to the minors in June. He was called back up to the bullpen in September. He was a dominant reliever. He had a 1.5 ERA in 12 innings with 17 strikeouts and only 1 walk. His fastball touched triple digits, as if that's something to be very proud of. I get it, I know, but it really gives me cringe when I see it. He says he wants to remain a starter. Now, it's going to be hard for the Twins to keep him out of the bullpen considering how good he was. Now that they have DeSclafani, it'll be interesting to see how their rotation rounds out. Whoops, I lost my spot. So let me just get back to it. So here's the thing. 331 ADP for Louis Varland. And you have Anthony DeSclafani, who is 33 years old now. He's pitching in a minor league game next week. He got through another bullpen session without issue on Thursday, and they say his availability for opening day remains very much in question. Now, DeSclafani is 33 years old. He only pitched 99 and 2/3 innings last year due to a flexor strain, and only 19 innings in 2022 because of an ankle injury. Well, he did not require surgery, and the hope is that he is going to be ready for opening day. When he's on the mound, he saw a decline in his strikeout rate. It's down to 7.1 strikeouts per 9, and a worrisome 8.8% swinging strike rate, and the second highest walk rate of his career. He's had 2 years of health issues. Now he's 34. We don't know for sure if he's even going to be able to hold down a rotation spot, but what the hell? Take a shot. 571 ADP. DeSclafani, if he's healthy, the job is his to lose. I would also look out for Louis Varland making his way to the rotation this season. A couple of other quick tidbits here. The Guardians center field situation, Miles Straw, it looks to be his job. Now, Miles Straw, ADP 593. He just returned from a 2-week absence with a viral infection. He started in center field 2 of the last 3 games with Estevan Florial playing left field those days. Now, Estevan Florial, ADP 578. He hasn't done himself any favors, okay? He's 3 for 26 with 12 strikeouts, but this guy has no more options left, all right? So that's that. Moving on. Look, left field, center field, and right field, Estevan Florial plays all 3 positions while Miles Straw only plays 1, center field, but it looks to be that Miles Straw is the starting center fielder for the Cleveland Guardians with Stephen Kwan at left and Will Brennan playing right. Their DH situation, it looks to be Ramon Laureano or Kyle Manzardo. Kyle Manzardo has hardly played this spring and appears destined for AAA Columbus. His ADP is 403. You also have Rule 5 pick Division de Los Santos, he's been given more at-bats than any other Cleveland Guardian this spring, which makes sense because you have to see what you have with him before making a decision, and ultimately it seems like the Guardians will use the spot to give regular semi-rest. So the DH spot will be basically given to the regular players. That means Estevan Florial will have an opportunity to play. Yes, well, Lenny hates him, but he's out of options, okay? They picked him up for a reason. So maybe they'll get rid of him, maybe they won't. Lenny never liked Estevan Florial, but he doesn't have a good reason either, just like Boston Paul. Lenny's in with Boston Paul for saying shit without any good reason. I'm just kidding. Estevan Florial hasn't done good, so I don't blame him for not liking him. Also with the Royals, you have second baseman. You have Adam Frazier and Michael Massey, both probably going to play pretty regularly against right-handed pitchers, with Frazier having the ability to bounce around to other positions. Also, Nick Lofton might get some time at second base against lefties if he makes the team. Nothing is settled with the Royals' closer job. Will Smith seems likely to be first in line, but for what it's worth, James MacArthur and John Schreiber have both been terrific this spring. Also, you have the Rangers closer situation. We're assuming it's going to be Jose Leclerc, with David Robertson and Josh Sborz also in the mix. The White Sox closer situation will also give you a headache. You got John Brebbia, who hasn't pitched this spring because of a calf injury, but the hopes remains that he'll ramp up in time for opening day. Prelander Berroa just went down with the shoulder injuries, so the team's best reliever this spring has been Jordan Leisure, although it's unclear what the organization's appetite is for carrying him on the opening day roster, let alone putting him in the ninth inning. Also, obviously, Garrett Cole out. An outside addition is possible, but internally you got Luis Gill, Will Warren, Clayton Beeter, and Luke Weaver as the most likely candidates to take up one of those rotation spots for the Yankees. Also, Taj Bradley appears likely to miss the first month or so with a pectoral strain. The options to replace him include Jacob Lopez, Uwasawa, Wagespack, Alexander, and Davinsky. And that's all I have for today. This is Saturday Fantasy Baseball with your host, the lunatic Roto Lady, and the legend himself sitting by my side. We will see you tomorrow, Sunday, Lady and the Legend, 9 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. We're all getting ready for Fantasy Baseball. Thanks, everybody, to the chat room. Thanks for joining us today and being such a great, knowledgeable, great baseball fans, and we love it. Enjoy your day.